Hi, my name is Lona Muthania Uchido, and I'm making it one of my life's mission to demystify the speech therapy field and to empower more parents on what they can start to do in order to optimize their child's communication outcomes. So whether you want your child to talk more or talk better, learn better, and overall optimize their potential. So stay tuned and feel free to send in any topics on speech and language development you'd like for me to tackle.
Hi, I really want for these videos to do more than just, demonstrate this, show you how to do, incredible things with bubbles at home and do, tell you which toys to purchase and tell you which other gizmo to build and whatnot. For a majority of parents who are time poor, myself included, you really want quick things that you can do and ways that you can get results quicker for your child. And I want to have conversations that demystify a lot of things that we have come to think about, conditions and therapy process and your involvement at home in helping to expedite results for your child. So today I am talking about resistance. And I alluded to it if you are following us on our social media platforms, so Instagram and Facebook. I said, in my opinion, and I know this is a big declaration to make, but resistance has a lot, or rather is to blame in a lot of the instances that I have encountered slow progress through therapy. And I'll expand more on resistance, and I want you to help bend your brain a little bit because I am linking together terms that haven't been linked before, and if they have, well, I probably am living in a cave. Maybe they have been linked before. So what I encounter, so what is resistance, first of all? So resistance is, just that delay, that, avoidance, that procrastination, that not wanting to do something that is unpleasant. So that's resistance. Resistance for an adult would show up, like for me, it might be, well, I've decided to watch Superstore, and I say to myself, well, I am going to watch Superstore as I'm having my meal. And after my meal is done, I will turn off the Superstore episode. Doesn't matter if it's in the middle of the episode, and then I'll watch it for the next, at my next meal. And well, that never happens. So I find myself finishing that episode, watching another, and watching another until I realize it's a pattern. This is my own resistance showing up because whatever it is I want to do afterwards isn't, it's probably not difficult, but it just requires a bit of effort. Yeah. So if you're the last minute kind of person who waits until the very last minute, and we call it procrastination, or I'm just a procrastinator, and we're happy to give it a name. So I have seen the same thing with children. So when children come, when I see kids who are, exhibiting whatever delay, and you're teaching them, you're trying to teach them a skill that hasn't yet been mastered. Yeah. So there's always going to be pushback. Yeah, it's resistance, and that resistance shows up for these children as, they'll throw a tantrum, they'll say it's too hard, or they will come up with another technique, another avoidance. They might get up, or if you are playing with a set of, like farm animals or a farm set, they might say they don't want to play with that, and this is how probably resistance shows up for them at home when you're interacting with them. Then they move on to the next toy, and then you're basically just hopping from one toy to the other and not recognizing that that's just resistance. So in the children I work with, I have a very firm rule about whatever task I have brought out has to be completed and packed away before we move on to the next. And I found somebody might say it's rigid and you need to follow the child's lead, but I also recognize if I do follow the child's lead, I might just be led to nowhere because this child just the resistance is so much that they can't settle enough to be able to complete a task because they don't want the challenge. And for my older kids, I say to them, you know what? We have to do this because it is how our brain actually, flexes and gets stronger. It is through challenge that our brain actually gets stronger. And really, this is the truth. You can't go to the gym and lift 2-kilogram weights forever and expect to have big muscles. Like, it doesn't work. Like, it's not going to work. Yeah. So you have to push through your own resistance to be able to do, to be able to push more and become stronger. The same way, my job as a speech pathologist is to help your child make progress, but they have to endure the challenge in order for their brain to develop the new networks required for that difficult skill right now to become easy and therefore automatic. Like, there's no way to bypass that. I couldn't possibly bypass it. Yeah. It's like you having a personal trainer and expecting your personal trainer to do your, to do your push-ups for you, to do your burpees for you. You might even say, oh, please don't push me hard. Well, how will you get over? That's your resistance. You need to figure out a way to motivate yourself. So my job as a speech pathologist with a child that has the resistance, your work as a parent with a child that obviously is having their resistance, is to sweeten the deal. And before you sweeten the deal, you need to recognize the resistant moments. Yeah. When this child says, I'm tired. When this one says, you need to recognize, I mean, sometimes they could be tired and you know your child better. You can identify, is this real tired or is this resistance that's showing up this way? And then after you recognize the resistant moment is now be able to sweeten the deal. So the way I would sweeten the deal if I don't want to go to the gym, for example, is I might say after the gym, so that noise, when I listen to my videos, I'm just like, that noise, and I know what it is, and I should, actually it's a resistance, I should go and take care of it. And I keep saying I will take care of it, but it needs me climbing up a chair and pulling down this, the diffuser, not diffuser, the freshener, the room fresheners, after it's run out and it's still making that noise. So if any of you has that in your home or in your bathroom and it's making the noise because the battery is dead, or not the battery, the spray is actually used up. So get over your own resistance. I'll make sure I get over my own resistance and go and do it. So what was I talking about? What was I talking about? Yeah. So I'll say the way I have remembered. All right, quick. So the way I would sweeten the deal for myself is I might say, after I go to the gym, then I will, for 5 days consecutively, then I will reward myself in a way. Yeah. And if 5 days just seems like it's too far away, then it can be every day after I do that, then this other pleasant thing. So you'd have to obviously learn the principles of habit change or behavior change. And there's a really good book, actually, I've read about that just had really nice practical tips. And I would recommend that you check out a book by a guy called James Clear, I think. And the book is called Atomic Habits. I really liked how he broke down things. It started a bit slower for me, but I remember, after the first one chapter, I couldn't put the book down, and it really did give good tips on how to change habits or behavior. And so for your little one, once you recognize the resistance, you sweeten the deal, and it's so easy. Like, I wish there was somebody who was sweetening the deal for me. If your child just has to carry out the prescribed work, and then they get the reward. And the reward could be, then they get 20 minutes or on the iPad. It might be then after that we go to the park, or after that we do this other thing. So they know that they have to do this, and then that happens. And because this is a bit that they have resistance for, is a challenging bit, because you've sweetened the deal for them, they're able to stay with it. They're able to stay with the moment enough for their brains to, their connections to be made, and for this task to actually be consolidated or cemented. And then in the future, it's not going to be as difficult a task. I have worked with little toddlers who are not putting words together, and you can see, like, they're able to do one word, and you say, okay, can we now expand it and say these 2 words? And they just, when they're about to, because it's really difficult, and they might actually have a valid reason why it's difficult for them. Maybe they are dyspraxic, they're incoordinated, but be that as it may, there is still a resistant moment there. Because if this child goes to say 1 word and you're trying to help them, prompt them to say 2, and then after that they throw themselves on the ground, then it is very difficult. So how do we sweeten the deal for this guy so that they now can put the 2 together? And then again, it could be, all right, I will then dangle the carrot. Or shall we bounce the ball after? Or how about we do this 10? And then I put the 10 out, and then it might be just, let's do 2, and then we can play with the ball. Then this child is able to stay with it, because again, I might want to do it for them. I might want to tell them what to say. I might want them to say big chair, small chair. I might want to model for them immediately before, for them to be able to say it and have a higher chance of being able to put it together. But then I have just really, I have spoon-fed the sentences, and so the brain is not remembering for itself. So as a therapist, I have to be able to balance out, not always offering the models all the time. If I've already given the models, it is now up to this child to now remember for themselves. That is the growth moment. It's like, again, if I'm a personal trainer and I'm helping you bench press or whatever it's called, I don't even go to the gym. I don't know why I'm giving all these examples. I just feel like they're very relatable. And I'm holding the weight for you so that you can get your form correct, and then you push off, and I never ever let go of the weight, and I'm helping you all the way, then there's just not going to be progress. So it's the same thing with what I'm doing with the children in the sessions, that after I have modeled to you the 2-word sentences, the 3-word sentences, it is up to you to remember for yourself. And then it's up to me to try and make sure the reward is pleasant enough for you to want to stick with the pain. But it's through the pain that you can come out the other end, and actually this becomes not so hair tearing in the future. So I hope that makes sense. So recognize your child's resistant moment. You cannot do anything. You cannot take that away from them. It's actually unfair for you to want to spoon feed and, them through that moment. That moment, they have to go through their own pain. Their brain needs to go through that metamorphosis, that in order for this task to not be that difficult for them. So all you can do really, is sweeten the deal for them. And then for the older child that understands, you can be saying to them, you know what? We have to do challenging things. That's how our brain grows. I remember, this just reminds me a story about, and probably nothing to do with resistance. This was just basically my children, one of them not wanting, they play tennis and not wanting to play with the older kids because he never ever used to be able to win against the older children. And I had to have a talk with my middle son and say, you know what, you're much younger than them, obviously, and you have, physiologically, you don't have the strength that they do, because I think then he was 5 or he was 6 years and he was playing 10-year-olds. And I'm like, but just you having to work harder to be able to hit against them, you are developing muscles in your brain, and even physically, you're developing skills that actually eventually will translate to like a better player. And I remember saying, because he wanted to play the little ones, the 5-year-olds and the other 6-year-olds, or even other older children that had lower skills. And I kept saying, what is the point of playing an easy child each time? Because you're not learning anything new. You learn, and there's growth when there is that challenge. So helping to just develop a growth mindset for your child will also go a long way in helping them recognize resistance, recognize the importance of challenge, and recognize how the brain works. So I really hope that this video, which is just sounds like, whoa, what are you saying, Lorna? Like, it's not the autism that is making my child not talk. It's not the attention deficit that's making my child not, say these things. It's not the, no. But more than that, you need to recognize and then be able to help your child through it. And if you're able to do that, then you will definitely be able to unlock progress for them. Any questions, obviously, just shoot, email, whatever. But I wish you the best as you help your child be able to tackle resistance for themselves and to expedite results for your child.